So welcome to the Man the Fuck Up podcast. Lenny, I'm super excited because we've been trying to get our guest for today into the man cave for quite a while now, but it's just a testament to how busy these two gentlemen are. Welcome, Floyd Rag, John Hirch. How are y'all doing today?
I'm awesome.
I'm awesome.
I'm
Doing good. Man.
I'm
Thank
busy.
you for having us.
You finally don't have your phone to your ear because, that's normally what you're doing. Obviously, I was introduced to you through Lenny for Exotics on Las Olas, which is this incredible supercar event that you guys have brought here to South Florida, which we can get into. But you were just mentioning, before we started recording, that's just a fraction of what the two of you do on a daily basis. So why don't you go ahead and give the Man the Fuck Up audience a little bit of backstory on each of you and what a day in the life is kind of like.
I mean, of course, people that know me know I just played professional football, did a lot of TV work.
Mm-hmm.
When I retired, I got into marketing, mostly professional athletes. Actually, my first guys I started working with were Jim Brown, Eric Dickerson, Marcus Allen, Jim Brown, and Lawrence Taylor, and Dennis Rodman were my first guys I started working.
Who would I'm 100% joking when I
Yeah,
say
so
that.
those were the
to
first
you.
guys I started
Legends. I mean,
and from there, I started doing NFL camps for kids,
Mm-hmm.
which I worked with Roger Craig. Again, I worked with Eric Dickerson. I worked with Dennis Rodman. Me and John actually first partnered up doing an NBA basketball camp for kids.
okay.
We did that for 10 years.
Yeah, All-Star Basketball Camp in North Miami, JCC.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Found out we work real good together, so we do everything together. John's my guy. Ended up, how I got into the cars, I was actually doing a deal for Ricky Williams for the Miami Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted a car deal, so I ended up with my PR girl, Valerie. Valerie was doing a PR for Warren Henry.
Valerie's the best.
Yeah, she's the best. She's the best. She's like, yeah, I can get you on Warren Henry. So I ended up doing a Range Rover deal with Warren Henry. Gonna find out he didn't have anybody doing his marketing, so I ended up doing marketing for Ricky and for Warren. Dwayne Wade signs with the Heat. I ended up doing his deal with Warren Henry and Range Rover. Coach Shula, Brandon Marshall. So yeah.
Lenny and Kimmy from the Man the Fuck.
Yes,
You want to? I mean, I'm just saying if they're
Hook us up.
if they're looking for
Hook
more
us up.
people.
And then
Chris Bosh.
we ended up with
Wow.
Chris Bosh.
No wonder everybody drives Range Rovers.
Yeah, so we ended up buying Lamborghini Palm Beach. Was actually our first dealership. And so Warren goes, how are we going to get people, because we're a Dade County company, up to Palm Beach? I said, let's do a cars and coffee. They're still doing it today, but I'm the one who started that one up there. So when we separate our ways with Palm Beach and ended up getting Lamborghini Broward, again, Warren's like, how are we going to get people out in the Southwest ranches? I don't want to do a cars and coffee because everybody does cars and coffee. Let's do a supercar Saturday. That lasted 6 months, and I grew that, and it's like, what are we going to do now? Ended up over at Shops at Pembroke Garden. Now we're the largest monthly car show in South Florida with Supercar Saturday. Fast forward, there's people from the city of Broward County, from Broward County came to Supercar Saturday. Goes, how can we get this on Las Olas? That's easy.
Start of a nightmare.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, so your company has basically become the proverbial field of dreams. If you build it, they will come,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
You know
So,
what I mean?
and they're now coming to you to set up
Anything
bigger
with
and
cars.
bigger events.
Anything
Yeah,
with
so
cars.
cars, sports. I get people looking for. The problem with people like Dennis Rodman. I've been with Dennis Rodman for over 30 years, and Lenny knows it's not easy working with athletes.
I have nothing to say about that.
But if they think because they see you with them, hey, can you get Dennis Rodman here? Can you get Lawrence Taylor? I said, man, do you know how much money it costs to get these guys to show up? You know what I mean? And they're not doing nothing for free, So you get these calls every day. Hey, can you bring athletes here? I'm like, come on, bro. Stop. It's not that easy. And so what happens? I get all these calls, and so now John. Well, I call John my pit bull because he likes to deal with all that. So John,
I don't like to. I just have no choice. It's one of those things. We're working together. You're dealing with
I'm like,
it.
John, deal with that, man. I can't handle it. You know what I mean? Because you get all these calls and the people just like, hey, can you get this? Can you do this? I want to do this. I'm like, bro, it's too much.
John gave me some really good advice when I dealt with an athlete.
What'd he say?
And, well, he said, just make sure you're very specific on what you expect and put it in writing. And that was very good advice with dealing with an athlete, and I mean, and I thought I did that, and still not enough T's crossed and not enough I's dotted.
Well, because they're athletes, so they're going to always throw something at you. I mean,
They're audible. They're gonna audible.
correct. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, I look big, but I'm not an athlete, so it's all right. But my background before I met Floyd was I was doing the housing for NFL players for like over 10 years.
Like, are you talking about so when they would come down here, if they were traded and they needed to get housing as soon as they
Traded.
got down here, or if this was just where they were drafted to, you were the guy to go to?
Not only that, but I don't know if a lot of people know that, but South Florida for off-season training
For sure.
is huge.
Mm-hmm.
So all the agents like Drew Rosenhaus all had his guys down here. So when they come here for off-season training or rehab, or getting ready for the draft,
Or retirement.
or retirement, getting ready for the draft though, all the players needed to have housing and set up. So I was in charge of setting up all the players. And I did that for 10 years, and I was just like, wait a minute, this is ridiculous. I would get calls at like 3 in the morning. I went out, I lost my keys. I'm like, so I would be like, do I look like a locksmith? I'm like, really, guys?
Like your property manager? Like.
So I started doing that, and then I was like, that's how I met Floyd, and then I was just like, yeah, I got to do something else, and that's when I started my other company called Drive to Earn, where we have over 600 Uber cars on the street. So I buy cars and I rent them out for those that want to do Uber, Lyft, Grubhub, any type of delivery services. They'll rent through me. We take care of the maintenance, we take care of the insurance, we give them newer cars. So this way they have a car for transportation, and they also have a way to make money.
That's wild. Like,
that's truly giving back.
but is that even? So there's so many questions off of the first 5 minutes of this conversation. But as far as the cars go, like, that's just wild to me. So you buy all the cars, you're eliminating their car payment for them, basically.
But they do have to work for it, which is.
They have to work, but at the end of the day, what people don't understand that because we rent it out on a weekly basis,
Yeah.
and they pay a weekly rate. But what they don't understand is they're putting up all this miles because South Florida is so spread out.
Yep.
So when you put on all these miles on cars, the depreciation of the car is going way down. And then if any major service comes up, these guys can't afford a car payment, can't afford insurance and maintenance all the time. So we take away all of that burden from them, which allows them to pretty much have a car to do whatever they need to do with and just put gas and no other headaches.
You are next level yellow cab.
Correct.
Next.
I
level.
love it. Only, you still get to rate these folks. You can't rate a yellow cab. You know what I mean? And
No, that's why you don't see them anymore.
Although, let me tell you something. When your phone dies at a sporting event or at a concert, yellow cab has saved my ass on many an occasion. There is nothing worse when that power's down and you're over there at the FTX arena, or you're out at, God, don't be at Hard Rock. You know what I'm saying? And you're watching like, please don't die. Please don't die.
Yeah, but this is where everyone's running to valet looking for chargers.
They try to be at the airport and then trying to get an Uber. And
That's the worst.
There's a yellow cab right in front of you.
Yeah.
Let's just jump in this yellow cab.
But there's still a place for them, but they don't dominate anymore.
No,
which
definitely
is
not.
good.
Well, that's a whole.
Or try to go to the Dolphins game and get an Uber.
No.
Yellow cab
No.
right there.
How about that? Or the pickup. The pickup at the Dolphins games
Yeah,
is
getting there is
the
bad.
worst.
It's the pickup.
Oh my God. They trying to get people killed. No, they are legitimately trying to get people killed because you end up walking through the Bajas to go get your Uber. And Taylor Swift, I'm sorry, I just have to share this. I went to the Taylor Swift concert. I was in radio for 18 years, so, just part of the
Had to
job.
go?
I did. So great show. There's a thunder. It's in the middle of the summer, though. It's like in August. And there's a thunderstorm. And it's one of the first big events where now they've moved the Uber pickup. So it's literally like almost a mile. It's a mile away at a school.
Need Uber.
Get Uber to get to where your Uber pickup is. But you got to see all of these, I hate to say it, but all of these white little Swifties and their parents walking through people's backyards in the Baja. And you're going, come on the street, please. Just come over here. I just want to make it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And folks are like, what you doing in my backyard? Like opening up their sliders. It was the most, I was like, is Hard Rock, are they crazy?
Well, that's a good time to ask them for a phone to get an Uber.
Yeah.
If your phone ran out.
Excuse me, can I use your charger? Get the
where they have everybody set up at is trying to go to the Dolphin Stadium right now. If you don't have a pass to park, forget.
Oh, the
about it.
worst.
Forget about it.
Well, they have everything going on. They have the tennis. They have the Grand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're building. They got it all tore
And
apart.
they-
You can't get off into the stadium.
Well, and they've eliminated some of the parking because of where,
lot of
like that
parking.
whole other
Lot of
lot that used to be across the way. Yeah.
Parking.
Not only that, you want people to be safe because obviously then you don't drink. You don't drink and drive. But that pickup is, I will never
But
again take an
now
Uber to the game.
Parking is more than the ticket. So you.
Well, they
Facts.
have won 5 in a row now. So 4 in a row, 5 in a row. So the tickets,
Listen, it's not how you start; it's how you finish. That's what we're going.
the tickets will
with today.
start going up.
You know what I was telling somebody today? Yeah, we won 4 in a row, but at the end of the year, we're gonna be 8-8. We could be 5-0, 6-4.
Yeah, but you still
whatever.
have a chance. 'cause
We're gonna
they-
still
they-
end up 8-8 at
Yeah,
the
but
end
at the end of the
season.
day, they added another wild card.
So we're gonna be 9-8.
No, but they added another game and they added another spot. So technically, 9-8, you could make the playoffs.
Did they do that just because the Dolphins suck so bad?
Probably.
So
They had an in.
8-8, 8-8, 9-8, 8-9. We still gonna be 500. We live for.
Well, and the worst part is that doesn't help you
But you know what? We're
when
all
it comes
still,
to the draft.
we're all still
Well, speaking of the
Dolphins
draft,
fans.
what I don't understand,
They paid me,
go
I'm good.
Giants. We played.
Oh God! Oh, he's wearing a Giants hat too.
I
Big
don't-
blue.
Don't want to give it away.
Big blue.
But at the end of the day, I don't understand. You had the most draft picks out of any team,
You got to know how to draft.
and are they saving them?
I don't know.
You gotta know what
Inherently,
you're doing.
I mean, I'm not a big football guy. I've only started
You
watching.
look big. You should be a big football guy.
Well,
Boy,
I-
John, don't.
know.
Mm-mm.
you know.
Mm-mm.
But I have in the last couple of years because we have some friends who are playing, and we've started looking at it. But the Dolphins have always been a Dolphins fan. I mean, I was alive when we had the perfect season. I went to games at the stadium in downtown Miami, at the Orange Bowl. It was like, it never went away. I'm still a Dolphins fan, but they just seem to have the worst management since Joe Robbie and that whole thing ended. It's like who owns the team today? I mean, every celebrity that comes to South Florida owned a piece of the team at some point. It's like, who's making all these decisions? And it's just
Well, they're
horrible.
drafting. I think they're drafting based on popularity instead of based
And on the talent and
Based on
what fits your
skills.
system and what's going to be most effective with the
because they're more interested in bringing fans into the stadium than they are having a product on the field. And it's all about money because they're looking at college players that had all the hype, right? Because right now, social media and all of that is what's getting people's attention. So if these players have a big following and they have a decent career, even though they get hurt, the starting quarterback for Dolphins played more on the injury list.
I was
than
going to
he
say,
did.
Floyd, you played though, and what's the injury rate for the NFL? It's 100%. By the end of the season, everybody is hurt. You can still play, but no matter what,
Today is not. I mean,
your body's beat up.
I mean, but
period.
today, I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was watching First Take with Shannon Sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Most injuries are non-contact injuries today. I mean, and the reason they're non-contact injuries because remember I was saying the way you practice, the way you play.
mm-hmm.
So if you walk all week and you don't hit all week, but you
You're
want to
gonna
go
pull something.
full speed on Sunday, you're gonna tear something up. And you look at the defensive end for the Washington Redskins. He was just going upfield, blew his knee out. These guys tend to kick. You can't run a 100-yard meter dash and jog all week and then get in the blocks and think you're not gonna pull your muscle or tear something up when you come out the block. So that's how they practice all week. You walk all week. You can't hit all week. Oh, but it's on Sunday. Just go live.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's going to work. But that's why the games look kind of raggedy because nobody hits, That's why you get these crazy.
Or when they get hit, they get flagged for it. You can't even hit.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, listen,
that lends to Lenny's line of questioning that he had.
Well,
for
I mean, this lends to the whole pussification of America. But it's across the board. We were talking to David a couple weeks ago about David Temptation Island.
Yeah.
Benavides.
And he played soccer, and soccer players are on the field
They're in incredible shape.
nonstop for a
They're
couple
just
hours. They're like they're
Conditioned.
they're conditioned above boxers
Yeah,
almost.
I don't understand the game, how it works.
You kick the ball into the net, Lloyd.
You know
Don't
my
say
dog.
that.
You know my
I just see
dog.
guys
He
going
chases
back
the
and
ball
forth,
back
going
and
back
forth.
back and
Same
forth.
thing.
1-0, nothing. It's
It is the same. It is the same thing, pretty much.
boring.
But that's okay.
Don't Don't say
But
that
the
to soccer
conditioning,
fans.
the conditioning now, they're more concerned with getting the athletes to such a high level of performance so that they could be on the field for 2 minutes to perform at this peak level that they break. It's like supercars.
It's not that. It's all about the dollars.
Oh, of course. Of
You
course.
know, so if one of my superstars get hurt and people want to pay to see the superstar, I got to keep them healthy, but they don't understand you hurting them by not practicing them the right way, you know? So it's a double-edged sword,
So
you know?
this is not a sports-based podcast, but it's funny that you say that because people will talk about, and I'm from New England, so, you know, I know what it's like to lose, and then I know what it's like to win. But I will say this, I also went to the University of Miami. I know what it's like to win, and then I know what it's like to lose for a very long time. For a very long time. But I also know what incredible, okay, you know what, Floyd?
Same management as the
Where'd you go to college?
Southern University, Baton Rouge.
Okay.
Yeah.
When was the last natty that y'all won?
Let's go through.
No, let's not. No, what
Let's
you want
go
to
through
do?
the Hall of Fame.
Floyd, really the Hall of Fame?
No, you're
really?
going losing battle with
No,
that one.
I 100% understand that, but as far as collegiate programs go, the University of Miami is not too shabby when it comes to incredible NFL level athletes and the Hall of Fame
you're
in the
living
last
like the
40
Dolphins
years.
in the
Oh, no,
past.
no.
Yes.
We
Very
put
much
somebody.
so.
How many guys were nominated in their first round this year? Vince Wilfork was nominated in his first year of eligibility. Was it not Reggie Wayne? Who else? There were like 3 guys.
What's
Devin Hester was nominated first year of eligibility, and there were 3.
It was 3.
There were 3 out of the 6 or whatever. Pretty impressive, I'm just saying. But yes, no, we've been shit for literally over a decade. But the guys that we put in the league when we were incredible, you know, over the 30, 40 years before that. But they lasted in the NFL too. And a testament to that is the way that they played, the way that they practiced.
Not the way
You know what I
it
mean?
is
Like
now.
they didn't like to lose. They didn't come in like
It was old school football.
I'm sure, and you probably know, like Antrell Roll, friend of mine. We were at college together. He got dragged by the media on numerous occasions because he couldn't keep his mouth shut because he hated losing when he was with the Giants, right? But he's one of the reasons why they got another Super Bowl against the undefeated Patriots, because you got to have people that don't like to lose despite getting a paycheck,
You need dogs.
right?
Dolphins don't have dogs
And luck.
anymore.
The pass against the helmet didn't hurt.
It never hurts. It didn't hurt, you know, the years prior to that either.
was
You know,
pissed at him.
Eli Manning got lucky in 2 Super Bowls. Doesn't matter. They
Our
still won.
luck, your loss. I'll
For
take it.
sure. Anyway, but when we talk about that, though, you have a Bill Belichick who, it's not about the name. He'll draft a 6th-round quarterback and turn him into the greatest quarterback of all time. You know what I'm saying? Like, he finds guys that fit his system. And because when they leave, what happens? For the most part, they go chasing waterfalls. They go chasing paychecks.
On the other hand, with the Dolphins, when they leave the Dolphins, they become all pro.
Incredible. Ted Ginn Jr.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
They said he was garbage here.
Trash.
I mean, look at Tannehill.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was about to retire if he'd have stayed here.
Yeah. It was, and you know, it's as big of Dolphin fans as we are. One oops erases 1,000 attaboys. You know, so you fuck one game up, he sucks. Get rid of him. And that's the mentality.
But the thing is, they don't know how to use their players.
Well, it's you know,
For sure.
I
That's-
think it's the shit rolls downhill thing.
But I also
you know,
blame that
somewhere
on-
at the top, there's something going on that's not letting the bottom work.
But I also blame that on agents too. And you know this. Like, as an agent, if you're representing a player, and especially it's a player with options, right? Obviously, if you're a 1st-round draft pick and somebody's going to give your guy,
Stupid money.
you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, this is where he's going. But if you got a little wiggle room and you know he's going to be even more successful with the team, you know what I mean? And you have the power to negotiate a trade or whatever, you do that. Put your guy in the best position to go out there and ball his ass off.
Well, they
because
do. That's why they leave the Dolphins.
but they got to the Dolphins in the first place. So I think that there's a lot of moving pieces when it comes to that, and a lot of guys are just out there. You know, they want the paycheck, and you can understand that you've sacrificed your body for a long time.
Hey, today it's all about the paycheck. When I paid you want to be out there on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Today it's about the paycheck. I mean, you get a pinky hurt today, I can't play.
What were the years that you
2
were
weeks
playing
off.
pro ball?
83 to 87.
Okay, so it's amazing how quickly the game has changed.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like the amount of money players make. Like that was you know,
No, we was making peanuts. You had to have a second job when we played.
Mm-hmm.
or you had to
but
be
that
that
was it
guy.
all the way up to that point
Yeah.
too. It wasn't like, you know, these sports used to be passion driven, not money driven.
Money's social media, fame. You famous for being on social media, not what you do on the field.
Well, look at Beckham. Right? He hasn't done anything since that one great catch against Dallas, and now he's only popular because of what he puts on social media. He hasn't had one amazing game where you're like, wow, I wish I had him back on the Giants.
Isn't he coming back?
Maybe against them, but not.
Oh no, I thought that he wasn't. I thought that I saw that.
Browns released him, and he signed with the Rams because he got more money. The two teams that were going to take him were between Green Bay and the Rams, and because he wanted more money and the Rams stepped up, that's why he's on the Rams now. But it's 1 year. End of the year, he'll probably be out there again.
But Floyd, wouldn't you also say those guys did a much better, like the guys that you played with, did a much better job of developing relationships in the communities that they played in because you made money after playing? Like you opened car dealerships, you opened restaurants. If you had a relationship in the city that you played in and you were a contributor, you were able to parlay your time on the football field into legitimate business. So I feel like you thought a little bit more like you thought about the long game.
Well, the difference between today and when we played, you got to a team, you want to stay with that team your whole career. So I went to Dolphins, you want to stay with the Dolphins. You don't want to be traded. You don't want to go to another team. You're LT with the Giants. You stayed in that community, so you got attributed to that community.
Yep.
So you stood there. So everybody knew you. Nowadays, I mean, every year you got to go, who's on my team? So you don't get any type of ties to the community. You know what I mean? So that's the problem.
Yeah.
So not even fans they don't want to get attached to most guys because you know when free agency comes, he's gonna be here, he's not gonna be here, he's gonna leave, he's gonna come. You know who's coming in? Like even every year. Like, you got to figure out who's on my team.
Well, that's why you still see Marino. You still see more Dan Marino jerseys at a Dolphins game.
You see a lot of those guys, OJ McDuff and all the guys, because they were here their whole career. Nowadays, I mean, if you get 2 years on the team, it's like, so how can you build a fan base? But what guys don't understand, when they retire and you never establish a fan base, where you going to go? You got I get calls all the time. Hey,
Who are you?
Yeah, who are you? You know what I mean? You come back to Miami. Oh, yeah, I remember you. Ricky Williams is still one of the most famous guys in Miami.
Yep.
They need to make jerseys where you could just, with Velcro, where you take off the name, keep the number, and just keep it changed.
Hey, copyright that as soon as you leave, start working on that. That's your next deal.
But that's the problem. But these guys don't understand. I mean, like I said, you make a lot of money right now. A lot of guys, what you going to do long term? Like I said, if you haven't established their presence, like I get people call me up all the time. Hey, can you give me a call deal for one? I'm like, bro, who are you? Like I got people on the team. I got some guy said he's the starting linebacker for the Dolphins.
No, the best one was the guy.
And you said who?
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 No, the best one was when we got the call for the guy on the Marlins. He didn't even make he was in the minors still.
No, the best one was I got a call this year for the starting quarterback for University of Miami.
Oh, dear baby.
The guy that's not even playing right now. When they called me up, I was like, you kidding me, right? He's like, oh, he's the starting quarterback for University of Miami. I said, you kidding me, right? I said, do you understand who I work with? And you can call me up for him. Hey, LT, I can't get you a car, but I can get this starting quarterback from Miami a car.
But obviously, and the only reason that's legal now is because of the NC2A rule change.
But the thing about people don't understand, there's thousands of college athletes. But it's going to be 1% going to make two.
Yeah. Oh, no, for sure. But you're also in a Miami. And to your point, that's kind of, I think, a frustrating thing because so many of these guys do retire back to home. They're from here, right? Yeah. So you've got, I mean, I don't think there's another place in the nation that's got the concentration of former professional athletes.
Well, you have the largest chapter.
Our NFLPA chapter is the largest in the United States.
And current NFL athletes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because, Texas has a lot, too. You'll have states like Alabama, California.
We have the largest in all of the United States, our chapter here, which we have our meeting coming up December 11th. We're doing our Christmas event for the NFLPA South Florida chapters.
Love it.
Weather doesn't hurt.
No. Yeah. Especially not when you're going to have, arthritic knees by the time you're 35.
It's freezing. It's freezing here.
If it
was it horrible?
70, everyone's looking for their coats.
Look, you're wearing long sleeves and a hoodie.
I mean, not to mention, you figure it's been a retirement community for so long. There's incredible hip doctors. If you need rehabbing and everything else, you got access to the best.
Practice.
See, right there.
Unless you haven't done marketing for the hip guys.
Yeah, no, I got.
That'll be next.
I got the PRP treatment. I'm good.
But I want to ask you because I know, so Lenny, that was one of his big things, is the difference between playing them. Like, obviously, Man the Fuck Up is about that, right? Like, ways, like, what does that mean to you when you watch professional sports now, when you watch football in particular, because obviously that's a sport where, you know, it's
Yeah, and basketball. Basketball was a hardcore
Super
sport. I
physical,
mean,
yeah.
it was a
Well, look at
very
the Pistons.
Well, look at
It
LeBron
was.
James right now. He should man the fuck up because every time someone touches him, he cries.
Literally, it's written. Well, it's LeBron is written on the board. See, John, that's
He went-
why we love you.
He was at a game I think last week, and he had 2 people in the front
out.
kicked out because he didn't like what they said.
I mean,
Okay.
when Dennis played, people got elbows
Well, that, I mean,
constantly.
he played on that Pistons team that they were called the Bad Boys, weren't they?
They had Jordan rules.
So Dennis used to say his practices with the Detroit Pistons were harder than any game
He ever played in.
And they changed the rules for the NBA because of Dennis, because he used to turn around and get an elbow into everybody's kidneys and ribs. And that's where they changed that. You couldn't throw your elbows into the guys. That was because of Dennis.
But to your point, Warren Sapp would say the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, those guys that played for the Canes then would say
Oh, yeah.
games on Saturdays didn't count because they saw their greatest competition
And practice.
in practice,
practice.
week in, week out, and that came from, you know, bragging rights at your park that you grew up playing Pop Warner football at. Like, you know, if you played for the Northwestern Bulls, you weren't going to get somebody from the Liberty City Warriors that, you know,
Everyone
blew
wanted
you
to
out for a touchdown. It wasn't
Everyone
what
wanted to
happened.
outdo the other person. Everyone wanted to have a name for themselves.
Competition. It was
Now they want
I
to
mean,
have more
in-
people on Instagram.
In Floyd's era and before, those guys would play with broken fingers and broken toes
yeah.
and
All
whatever
day.
else.
all day.
You know, it's funny. My kids, I don't go to the gym. I know you can't tell by these guns, but I
Yeah,
And those
I
abs.
never
And the
never really
abs.
been in a gym, but I'm fairly strong. You know, I did a lot of construction when I was young, and it's a different kind of strength than what they're giving these kids today. You know, and that's what they had with the football
well,
players.
there's durability,
you know,
versus strength.
No,
too, like,
it's man strength versus
It's
you know.
it's off. It's foo-foo strength now, right?
Yeah.
You know, they got all these cool equipments, all these different machines, and all this cute stuff, the computers and all that. Man, we used to go out there, man. Whatever you had to
drag that
Yeah.
sled.
Yeah, drag the sled.
Push
but
that
you had to-
truck.
You had to lift, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You had to use a concrete block you're using up. You had to put up on a tree. You use whatever was up.
200,
Yeah.
110.
Well, it's like the Rocky movies, right? Rocky 4. Well, he's
Yeah.
training outside
Yep.
the natural environment, and
The
Drago,
Russians in there,
you know,
yeah,
doing
Drago.
all these
With all the
machines.
Yeah,
cute
chasing
stuff.
chickens. It's like, you know, these are all things that have gone away, and you know, people say, "Oh, well, this is the better way to do it." I don't necessarily believe that. I don't believe
worked
that the athletes
before.
today are as tough as the athletes were before.
No way.
I mean,
Oh, no,
you know,
physically,
the fact
like
that they
what
can't get hit,
Well,
you
okay.
can't really tell, but they're not as tough.
But
as they
also
were.
to your point, are they mentally as tough as they used to be? Because I literally wrote the LeBron thing down because there's a couple things that I want to touch on just because you work in this space, so I'm sure conversations come up. So to John's point, that was the whole deal. He had the 2 courtside. They were like a 22-year-old female, and I don't know if it was her boyfriend or brother, whatever. Supposedly, they said, "I hope your son Bronny dies in a car accident."
Shut up.
That was what was supposedly said. And another fan who was in the area said, this is what was said. And that was why LeBron wouldn't get into it. You know what I mean? But he asked them to be removed. Like, now, I'm just saying from street policy to just in like IRL, any man walking down the street, you wish death on his child,
You gotta fight.
you probably gonna get knocked the fuck out, right?
You gotta fight.
Now, he also had, you know, courtside Karen kicked out of the Hawks game a year ago,
For heckling him.
right, for heckling. So, like I said, I don't know. That hasn't been confirmed by the NBA. It wasn't confirmed by LeBron. He basically just said there's certain shit that should not ever be said.
But why you even listening to the fans? Like when we played, you didn't even hear a fan when you played. You know what I'm saying? So
You focus on the game.
you got time to listen to what some fans saying. Your focus not into the game. You know what
But
I
do
mean?
you guys hear it like as football versus basketball? They're literally like you can trip over their feet.
But I mean, that's shame on the NBA because they put people right on the freaking court.
or yeah,
Yeah.
So I mean, so I'm sitting up there and I'm taking the ball out. I'm like, excuse me to the fan because your leg is hitting. Well, you're gonna hear somebody talk. So, you know what I mean? So that's on the NBA. If you
So
don't-
do you think that they need to man the fuck up? Like, do you think that athletes need to be mentally stronger in that space? Like,
Look, I mean, look. You remember Detroit when that stuff happened in Detroit and they went up in the stands? I guess they figure when that happened again, they might change the rules. You know what I mean? Because you're going to get some crazy guy, some fan going to say something.
yep,
You're going to get knocked the fuck out.
Ron Artest, right?
Ronald Test, yeah. You know what I mean? So, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm old school. We gotta say I'm old school. You say something like that, we fight.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's consequences, and that's part of today's, America. Is there people feel they don't have consequences?
Oh, they think they can say anything at any freaking time,
And listen, I'm all for freedom of speech, and you can say anything at any given time.
Yeah,
But
consequences.
No, that
just
you might get
know
knocked the
that
fuck
you're
out.
just know that what you say might get you knocked the fuck out.
Yep.
It's just that simple.
Yeah, no, it's I go through it every day. I mean, like John knows. John will talk a lot of time because John knows my temper is quick. John, you got to talk. Because you know me, I'm ready to throw these quick. John, I let John talk. And even with my girl, I cussed this poor old lady out so bad in the elevator because she told me about a mask. I'm like, babe, my mother's dead. She's not here. You're definitely not my mother. And I snapped. I'm on the 24th floor. She must have heard me for 24th floor. Cussing this poor old lady. I said, dude, you can't just. I'm old school. You can't just talk to me and just say anything you want to. You know, what I mean? I'm not that dude. You know.
Well, it's like you respect both ways, right? Because you don't want someone to say something to you and how you react to them.
Yep.
But like you were saying before, it's like you're egging them on, right? When you're
Yeah.
starting to talk
I mean,
shit
you know.
to someone, you can't expect
That's
them
a
to say,
different
"Thank
story."
You, may I have more.
Well, and that's the problem I think with professional sports because anytime you have a platform, you just come under added scrutiny, right?
So they
and
should
so
learn better.
that's par for the course, right? Okay, you're in a visiting house. It wasn't like they were playing at the Staples Center, but on the flip side of and somebody said you make way too much money, sir, to be letting these corny ass people sitting courtside or in the stands get you so riled up that you then ask them to be removed, right? So that was one of the arguments. But on the flip side of it, it's the other way. Because if you were on the street and you said that,
Yeah, but that's the street, and I guarantee on the street he wouldn't say shit.
Well, they're
'Cause he
keyboard
gets sued.
warriors. They're keyboard warriors.
Keyboard
Okay,
warriors, the keyboard, they're sitting on the
that's it.
sideline talking stuff.
You
know.
can't do nothing to me. I'll sue you.
You know what he should have done? It's like when his homeboy sitting in the stand, you see these people meet him outside.
Yeah.
And then-
Or hey,
Yeah.
pass
The
me the
homie.
ball right here.
Oh yeah.
Pass me the ball right here.
I thought about that. So you gonna say that? So I tell my guy, I said, I'm gonna go over there and throw me the ball, and then whoops.
Doing.
Yeah, lady, you know what I mean?
That's what you get for sitting
there's quite
courtside.
there's some players I can think of that have gone flying into the stands, flying into some chairs a time or two. Maybe that had to do more with heckling than
And he could've done that too. Like,
losing
there's ways to do
footage.
stuff, right?
Ways
Yeah.
to do it.
What they,
I
if
like
they
the one you throw the ball.
Whoops, my bad.
if they said that about his son, that's fucked up and he shouldn't say it. But for him to try to get them thrown out, people aren't going to know what he said or care what they said. They're going to go more about
He just looks like a pussy.
Yeah.
he looks like a little bitch, and because he does look like a bitch so many times, he could have just dealt with it like you said, with the ball,
Be a man.
diving
Be
in,
a man.
Yeah.
just so many different ways. Man the fuck up and deal with
I'm
your
over here.
shit.
I'm gonna get that pass from you.
If we ever have D Wade or UD in these chairs, I might ask if that was really what was going on.
Oh, no.
Those times they went flying into the chairs.
What's wrong with you, D&D Wade?
But you know what I'm saying? Like they've both gone into the chairs a time or two.
D is not the one to mess with. Yeah.
Well, it's like,
Yeah.
well, he doesn't have to worry about doing it. Gabby will do it for him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know Gabby will not fuck
who was saying it, baby?
Yeah.
Just point him out.
Gabby will square up on you. I mean, shit. I remember Dennis was going out Carmen. I seen Carmen square up on some people before. Yeah.
Okay, Carmen Electra.
Yeah, she'll square up on you too. I saw her just straight steal a dude one time for talking stuff. Wow. Oh, shit.
And that's the way it should be. I mean, listen, we live in the country that we have freedom of speech. Great. If you want to haul off and drag somebody, expect consequences. And it's like this. You're not going to do nothing to me. I could say whatever I want. And
Well-
if you do anything, I'm going to sue you.
Well, I love when you see the convenience store Karens that like to drop the M word, and now those videos are coming out where they're pop, because it's like, okay, cool, Karen, say what you want to say. Say what you want to say.
The public just needs to get smarter. If someone is going to drag you that way to where you want to hit them, you need to hit them back with some of that verbal that makes them put their hand on you first.
Ah, okay.
But
Okay?
they-
It's
but-
just
but-
that
but
simple.
they're not that
Antagonize.
tough.
Scandalize
but
them.
they don't. But the people that are talkers, because people who really are gonna swing are gonna come out swinging. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because there's
They're
talkers
bro.
that you learn that. You
okay.
learn that. Can I tell you, Lenny?
I don't know.
Especially from
I can pretty much
No,
scandalize
from-
You
anybody.
do. For a woman, you learn that very early on. You learn that 4th, 5th, 6th grade, middle school, that first altercation where you get into the word game with a girl, and if your bark is louder than hers, and next thing you know, she goes running. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where you learn that, okay.
It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen.
But real, I hate to say like real G's, but like the real ones,
People are just too
They ain't gonna
sensitive.
say
Right?
they ain't gonna say
nothing.
Just better keep your head
Okay.
on the swivel.
Yep. Okay. Bop.
Stay in your lane and go.
And conversation
Keep your head
is
on the swivel.
over.
It's about to
Conversation's
come,
over.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Keep your head on the swivel.
It is wild.
Yeah.
And the other thing, so along the same, sorry, Nestor, I just hit the microphone. He gets mad when
That's
I do
the
that 'cause
third
I talk
time.
with my hands. Oh,
That's
my
the
bad.
third
Third.
Oh, if he's keeping count, you got if he knows you got issues.
It's all good. I'm sure, you work closely with somebody. You know how that goes. But what was I going to say? As far as being role models, right? Because that's the other one, too. Sometimes you say, man the fuck up. Like, and especially in the world of professional sports, entertainment, we live in Miami. It's very easy to make bad decisions down here sometimes. And again, 9 times out of 10 with these phones out, I'm sure, Floyd, a lot of your friends will talk about the good old days,
Phones.
pre cell phones. And oh my God, imagine if they'd had that back when we were going out and turning up. It'd be a very different situation. Like, it's me.
Fuck that.
That's why I stay home now. But
This
I
thing right here get you so caught up.
so caught
Yeah.
up.
I don't do it.
So caught up.
That one picture would do it. I always warn who owner of Warren Henry Automotive. He always say, Floyd, just stay in your lane. And like, I'll come there. He's like, Floyd, just stay in your lane. Like, I remember one time I was hanging out with Dennis parties. He said, Floyd, I got to tell you, I know Dennis is your best friend, but you represent the brand now. Okay, Warren, you right. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just got to be smart when you go out there and know where you're putting yourself, because you just can't put yourself out there like that. You know what I mean?
Well, like, I'm one of those people that I believe in the school of thought, to whom much is given, much is expected.
Yeah.
So when you're blessed with a gift that puts you in the 1%, of people who make it out or get to play on Sundays, or when you're blessed, with a business mind that puts you, to whom much is given, much is expected. So I say, man the fuck up. I don't care if you wanted to be a role model. I don't care if you wanted the spotlight. Oh, I just want to go out there and play, whatever. That is part of the gift that God blessed you with. It's a package deal. But to other people, we've seen it, and especially a lot now, I think people back in the day, especially the marquee names, they understood that was a part of it. Like, you were going to have to go speak to kids. You were going to have to, there was no social media.
You gotta pay it forward.
You
always
have to.
to.
But your decisions that you make at a very young age can affect your ability to do that. Or you at least have to be willing to own the mistakes that you make. But you got a lot of people saying, I didn't ask to be a role model, so I'm just going to go out here and live my life. So I guess my question is, what school of thought are you guys with?
I was raised up by a strict mother. Discipline, yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. So I had discipline growing up. And if my girl says, why you speak to people all the time? I said, I'm in a room in the elevator with somebody, hello, how you doing? How's your day? That's just the kind of guy I am. People always say, you always got a smile on your face. What's to be sad about?
It's called being polite.
That's about being polite, you know what I mean? So I grew up with that, so that's just the kind of guy I'm in. So I don't see it as a certain kind of way be it. That's just how I grew up, you know what I mean? So
Values.
you got to have values, you know what I mean? So that's just me in life. So when I do something, you do it at the best. Or when I'm being polite, it's not hard to be polite. It's like I can, like, my girl I always talk about, she'll be in the elevator, she won't speak to nobody. You know what I mean? Me, I'm like, hey, how you doing? I come in the front door, hey, how you doing? She's like, why you always speak to everybody? Just being polite. You know what I mean? That's just how I am. So,
Don't ever change. Don't ever lose that.
No. But that's all I know. You know what I mean? So
That's one of the that's one of the most important things for me with my kids, is that they greet people hello, they shake hands. They're just that to me is above and beyond that. And eating habits in restaurants, and it's just these are just the simple things. And it's just so gone away. I'm around their little friends, and these kids have no respect for anybody.
Well, that goes back to the conversation earlier with people and screaming at each other and calling people out. Because if you start with a foundation in the family, right, you're taught a certain way. You don't just go out in the world and you're either this way or that way. It's taught, and it has to be taught from my grandfather, who I was very close with, said, you're going to learn from us or you're going to learn from a stranger, because you never know what someone else is going to do.
Yeah.
So that's when it was taught. Open the door, some chivalries. Just be a human being, be polite, and most important, treat others the way you wanted to be treated. Is how I grew up in my house.
And that's the way it is. That's that's what you're going to get back. You always get back what you put out.
That's what you're going to get back.
The problem with today is there's a million people telling our kids what to do on a daily.
Well,
so you have to instow that.
It still goes back to the parents, how you
Oh
raise
yeah.
your kid.
Oh yeah, you have to instow it.
You can blame it on everybody you want to, but like my son, kids don't have phones. They get certain hours where they can be on the computer. He guards them against all this BS right here. You know what I mean? But when you see a kid in a stroller and you want to shut him up, you give him a cell phone to play with. You're not teaching them any type of value. You just here's the phone, shut up. You know what I mean?
You're not interacting with people. You're giving something to compensate, and that's what makes people become assholes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there was a study that showed that children learn more in the first 3 years of their life than they do in the entire rest of their life. So, that goes right to that core value of family and respect and all of that. I mean, we had this whole debate on whether you should be able to spank your kids. I mean, if
not only if I acted up when I was young, not only did I get spanked, but it was a matter of
I got
what?
spanked by my principal.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. They,
you're gonna get one when you get home.
Yeah, yeah.
Facts.
You get a pair of them. If you get one at school, you're getting one when you get home.
We mentioned it. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead and let me finish.
That's okay. It's we're taking our kids now, taking that power away from our teachers, who spend more time with our kids than we do, in most cases. And what are we raising? We're raising a lot of disrespectful, no consequence having kids, and it's tough. It's tough.
It's a free for all.
I was just at home, and I ran into some of the guys. I graduated from high school 40 years ago.
This is Louisiana.
This is St. Louis.
Okay.
St. Louis. And so we're laughing. When we grew up, we went outside. When the sun came up, we were outside. And so my mother said, have your butt at home when the sun came down. And you could, it was called neighborhood policing. Meaning you could be down the street and do something wrong. The neighbor got to pretend gonna whoop you and send you home. You're gonna get a double whoop.
Yep.
Everybody grew up together. And everybody policing. Everybody watched each other. Everybody grew up together. Nowadays they don't have that interaction. You know what I'm saying? So like now I go back. It's like just people I grew up with. We grew up like a family. Your neighbors was your family because you grew up together. But they like you got people who don't even know who their neighbors are now.
That's so.
You know what I mean?
So sad.
You know what I mean? It's like how you live by somebody you don't even know who the hell you live by.
But that goes to your point of you speaking to everybody that you get in the elevator with, but your girlfriend speaks to nobody, right? Like, but again, so what did she see? Because I was no different when I grew up. My neighbor across the street, my mom worked. My stepfather was a pilot, so he'd be gone for 4 days at a time sometimes. So if my mom was going to be late from work, she worked at a family business, so things could come up. She would call the neighbor across the street. Ruthie would come over and get me, be like, Mom's going to be late. I got dinner, come over, whatever, And to your point, if we acted up as the little neighborhood gang was
the double one.
Yeah.
But that just show you the difference.
But now it's don't you lay your hands on my kids.
No, but
you can't even lay your hands on your own kids.
And don't say that to my kid.
Yeah, but you can't even you say something wrong. People gonna look at you like shut the fuck up, or they're gonna be like, oh, you can't talk to them like that. Like it's my kids, I can talk to them. My mother used to say, I brought you in this world, I'll take you out.
Yep, that's old school.
All day.
My family said the same thing.
My mother, I wish you would tell me how to raise my kid. You have problems. I mean, I'll tell the story when Dennis came to my house when he was playing basketball, and my mother's a little 5-foot lady. Don't fuck around with her. Dennis came in the house cussing, da-da-da. My mother go, baby, I know you this famous basketball player, but I'm going to give you two choices. You either going to respect me in my house or you got to leave. You should have seen Dennis.
I love it. Oh. Where was the phone camera when you needed it, right?
I give all the credit to one of my friends' mothers because, my parents were divorced. I grew up with my mom. She worked. So I was out a lot. I had a lot of freedom. But my one friend, I'd go to his house, and his mom would call me out for cursing every time. If I didn't have that influence in my life, one, I would probably have gone to prison very young because I grew up in South Florida in the 80s. And two, I wouldn't know how to speak to people. You know, she would hear me from across the room, you know, across the house, and she'd yell at me, "Lenny, stop cussing," you know, and it was something that I needed. I mean, my mom was the same, but this is the person I was with more than my mom because my mom was working.
But not only that, but like now, like, you know, when before you would get grounded and go to your room, you have nothing in your room, right?
Yeah.
That was an actual punishment back.
But now when they
Go play your PlayStation.
now when they go to your room.
You know what you should
Right.
say? Come sit in this living room with your family.
And have a
You know what I'm saying? Have a conversation. That's the real punishment now, because going to the room is Fortnite and Call of Duty and your cell phone and your
My
Mac-
13-year-old was acting up last week. I went in the garage. I turned the breaker off to his bedroom. Pow! It's in the middle of a game,
Don't let you be
whatever.
in the middle of that
I'm like, sorry.
Fortnite.
Pow!
It's just-
But I was. I'm like,
it's
you
just-
were what?
It's just different now. But like I said, I mean, we was just laughing. I was just at home. I just got back this weekend, just laughing about how we used to get a football, and like we had different neighborhoods. Like one weekend we get a football, and we go play all the different neighborhoods around town.
I did that
This
too.
neighborhood play, this neighborhood play. One week we get a basketball.
You had your own brackets.
Yeah, you know, but you go around because you want to have bragging rights. What
Yep.
side of town was better?
Mm-hmm.
But we did. This is all we knew. So if you didn't play sports, you know, or outside active, you assed out growing up around us. You know, what I'm saying? So you had to be active. You had to do things. You had to do everything together. You know, that's just the way it was.
Yep.
Nowadays, everybody.
But how do you get back to that? Because then you have parents. It's wild because.
you can't get back to that. You can't
We
get back
have
to
to,
But you
Floyd.
have a
we
lot
have
of-
to.
because of these right here. these
I feel
phones.
But
you.
also, you have a lot of scary ass parents out there that don't want their kids riding bikes, that don't want their kids going down. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, literally, and I get it. I grew up in like the burbs. Like, I grew up in southeastern Massachusetts. Like, I could wake up in the morning, there would be a cat walking down my street. But I also went to a city high school when I went to high school because my little ass town didn't have a high school. But the point is, we would out in the morning and back at night, riding bikes to the little ice cream spot or like whatever.
But we just like for us, Fortnite would be in the back of my house in the woods.
Building an actual fort.
real fort.
Not the video game,
Shooting a
building an
BB gun.
actual fort.
Fucking around, being a kid,
outside.
playing in the, getting dirty. Like now, like I would come home sometimes playing, like you said, with my neighbors. We would play, football, tackle football at the schoolyard. I'd come home with scratches, this, that. And my mom was like, anything broken? No. Okay, cool.
You're
You're
all
good.
You're good. Now, if you have a scratch that just needs
Yeah.
just to be wiped
Can
off.
you please dial 911?
Yeah.
So basically, parents need to man the fuck up. Kids need to man the fuck up.
We're raising a society of, pardon my expression, pussies. Like, there's nothing about anyone that's so manly or tough anymore.
I mean,
But even the girls.
Wait,
like,
I'm sorry. Except
Yes.
I have 2 million followers, so I'm better than you.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to.
That's really what it comes down to. And it's, I think it's a lot of geographically where you live in this country is part of it. Economically where you are in this country is part of it. But yeah, I struggle with it with my kids. I am clearly leaning towards old school,
It works.
Yeah, it works.
But, I have very respectful kids, but limiting their thing, I'm not probably the best at. I try. I have a 15-year-old daughter. I will use this to my advantage, and I will send her some fucked up shit that I see that happens to girls, young girls, and stuff. And I try and make them aware. I get the attraction to the phone, but you can't be walking down the street. Yeah.
completely
Plugged
unaware
into
of
your
your
phone.
surroundings.
Well,
Right.
look, I went
Yep.
to a marketing council meeting, right? And it was kids, and it was Give Back to speak about doing things. I don't know if you were there or not. This happened to be in Aventura. And they were going around the table asking, kids what they want to do when they get older. So one girl stood up, and she goes, I want to be a stripper. Wait, what? Get the fuck out of it. Wait, you want to
The
be
viable
Wait, but
career option.
But
now.
but you know what her reasoning was for that? So she could have a lot of followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's like, but John, you're not the only one. Because like I said, I worked in radio and would do high school. And legitimately, do you remember not that long ago, there was a time when if you were a stripper, if you were a dancer, if you worked in that lifestyle, you didn't do it in the town you were from. Like you went away because you didn't want anybody that you knew to walk in and see you on the pole.
But
Now you're being shouted out in rap songs, right? Like now you are a legitimate celebrity. You are turned up in the club and going, hey, I'm on stage at 3, meet me there, right? Like it's wild.
It's insane.
And on top of that, but here's the other thing. They're
How
also,
proud were those parents when she
But
said
they're
that?
also but now they're being wifed up. Like they're like, rock stars always did that. Rock stars loved porn stars, right? Like white rock stars loved the Jenna Jamesons of the world and stuff like that. Now though, in the world of stripperdom, like they're being wiped. Like there is no, it's y'all have to explain that one to me because I'm not.
Right. That's
Floyd, I see you've now gone to your phone, which means you either just don't want to contribute to the conversation, which is okay.
I have nothing to say on this
Actually
subject.
working
I'm
on the
taking a
Super
fifth.
Bowl
Oh.
right now.
nonstop.
But
Working on the Super Bowl.
I mean,
It's just our society now. Like people are putting more importance on becoming, popular through social media than being popular for doing something good. The values, like I said, are just out the. There's
Gone.
no more values. If you have more followers, if you have more likes, if you have more this on your phone, on your media, you're better than if you actually are doing something that.
And it causes a lot of these people to do, and younger people to do stupid things.
well, there's also no coming back from it. Like once your kitty cat is out there on the internet, it's out there on the internet. So when you want to be a 45-year-old realtor, like,
Well, she could be selling other stuff.
yeah, I am like
So many negative
Comes with the
people.
house.
It's a package.
It doesn't
it doesn't.
excite you anymore.
That's so.
It's like, dude,
House comes with a snail trail.
dude, okay, another girl wants to
But you-
I'm like,
House
okay,
pet?
great,
But you know what's crazy? As a woman, I look at that, and you know what the internet has done for me? Like it's made me realize how many beautiful women are out there with banging. It doesn't make you unique anymore. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, so what else are you bringing to the table?
well,
Because there's other, like,
my-
beauty, great hair, nice titties, a great all
But
of
my-
that.
my-
There's millions of us.
But my
Okay,
favorite thing.
another one, another.
Do you know what I'm saying? So what else?
Well, my favorite thing is before I got engaged, when I would be dating, what do you do? I'm a model. I'm like, no, really, what do you do? They're like, no.
What magazine?
No, no.
Like, what runways have you?
I'm like, you can't be a model. She goes, why? You don't think I'm good? I'm like, no, because you're short as fuck. They're usually like 6 feet and taller, and they're like, no, I'm a social, Instagram model.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, oh god.
It's really it's actually become a thing.
It's a
I
vital.
mean, that's where we hire all our models for
No,
our events.
Floyd.
But it's
Fuck the agencies.
but I mean, if you use
Don't need
it
'em
right,
anymore.
No.
no, but if you use it right, you can build a business.
Mm-hmm.
But people are just using it just so that it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. How,
Popularity. Everybody wants to be the star.
and growing up, I became popular because I was into sports. So if you're into sports, people follow you, right? So like Floyd was into sports, got to the next level, did well. So that's where he got popular. So it's based on healthy, good things that you're doing, not
Yeah. I was a bad kid. So everybody in my neighborhood knows my name because I was the bad kid. And I wasn't, it wasn't that bad,
That
but
dude.
but
you earned it.
I earned well, I when we first moved to the neighborhood, I
Everybody's
got
shocked to
beat
hear
up.
that.
I was a little kid. I got beat up and it toughened me up. And then I became, the bad kid.
That dude.
It's funny, my wife, the first probably 20 years we were married, every time she would meet somebody from North Miami Beach and they'd be like, "Oh, who are you married to?" She'd be like, "Lenny Novelli." and
Let
like,
me tell you a story about Lenny. Osh.
And-
Go again.
I don't feel like I was that bad a kid. I actually got, I wasn't really a bully. I did eventually bully the bullies.
So you did a good thing.
That's where it went. But I was just that kid. I came from the broken home. I run the streets. I was out. I was, But overall, I think I turned out okay. I didn't do any time, which I'm lucky. I went through a lot of stuff at a young age, but that was my reputation at the time. And I think you could probably still ask people and they'll know me.
Yeah, but you learned, right?
Of
At a
course,
young age, so
of
you were
course.
able to be something later on. These idiots now don't learn.
No.
They never learn, and they'll learn when it's too late.
They don't realize the consequences. There's no foresight. I tell my kids, I'm like, what you do today affects tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you have to think about it.
But the bigger part to that is, too, everybody makes mistakes. It's can you do what this sign says, and can you man the fuck up and own it, right? Like accountability will get you out of a lot of shit. Owning, no, and that's the real problem is not wanting to own the mistake, not wanting to take responsibility for your actions. Like we were joking about it the other day in relationships. You really want to get your girl, like just catch her completely off guard? Just own it. You're right. I'm sorry. We have nothing left to say to that. Like at that point in time, how else? And if she keeps going, all she wants to do is argue, right? Yeah. Like if you just own your shit, there's nothing else anybody can say.
Well, I have a plaque in the house that says, "I'm not arguing with you. I'm just telling you why I'm right."
I love it. I know.
Well, we know your opinions on things, John.
Yes, are super busy, and because you run multiple businesses, I do want to just ask a couple of things before we let you guys get out of here. Like I have on my board over here, best advice you've ever been given, life, business, whatever.
I mean, best advice. I mean, hard work is gonna always take you far. You know what I mean? There's no shortcuts in life. You got to work hard. I mean, that's just life advice. You know what I mean? I remember sitting down with Jim Brown. He used to always tell me. He said, "Tell me something that you don't know." I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" He said, "Tell me something you don't know," because everybody think they know everything, but what don't you know? And he's one of the kind of guys that if you ask him a question he didn't have an answer to, he wouldn't just talk. A lot of people just like to talk, and it makes themselves seem stupid when you're talking. You don't really know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Instead, he would go study and learn about it, and then he would answer. But most people they just talk and talk. You understand? You make yourself look more stupid when you're talking. You don't really know the answer to it, because sometimes it might not be an answer to it, but you're talking to make yourself seem like you're smart. So those are little things that I used to do with him. So he used to just, like I said, he played the mind game with you. Tell me something you don't know. And if you answer that, he probably disown you. Probably would stupid, you know what I mean?
Well,
yeah, just stuff like that, you know.
My grandfather always said, "You have one name. Don't ruin it."
Boom.
That's it. You have one name. That's who you are. Don't ruin it. Because once you ruin it, nothing is going to matter.
Yep. And listen, no matter how bad or good you are, I went into a bar. I used to play pool at this little, I called it the shithole. It was a bar in the back of a package store. And I mean, it was literally a shithole. And I would play pool in there every day. We owned the pharmacy across the street. I'd walk over, and there is nobody in there that ever owned a business or thought about owning a business or like-minded to me. But I played pool there. So my son, my oldest, walked in there with me one day. He was about 18 years old. And everybody in the entire place said hi to me. It's like, why do all these people like you? I'm like, no one in here likes me. They all respect me because I'm straightforward. Yeah. It's that simple. So that goes to your, you only have one name. And if you let people know what to expect from you, you're never going to disappoint them. And you're going to earn their respect on some level.
Well, and then the other thing my grandfather told me that always stands out, your education you're always going to pay for, whether you're going to pay for it in a school or you're going to pay for it in real life.
Yep.
Meaning you could, God forbid, if you get into trouble, you're going to pay because you're going to, God forbid, be in jail. Or if you're in business and you do something that's not ethical, you're going to pay because you're going to write a check. So my grandfather said, learning, you're always going to pay for an education. It's just a matter of if you're going to
how much it costs and where you spend it.
Correct. You're either going to get it in a classroom or you're going to get it in real life, but you're going to pay.
Yep.
I love that. Worst advice.
We're family, so you have to help.
Facts. I know somebody said something crazy to you, Floyd, at some point in life.
I don't really listen to what people say. You know what I mean? Because if you listen to what people say, that's going to affect how you act. I mean, growing up, people say you're too small to play football. Fuck you. People say you're going to flunk out too. Fuck you. You know what I mean? So you make your own way. So if you start listening to what other people say, which I never did, because that's going to you're going to let it affect you. So it never. I'm going to make my own way.
There you go.
If I make enough and I become successful, cool. If I make enough fail, I'm not going to quit. I just got to work hard to get where I need to go. I mean, the first time I got cut from a team, okay, this real life shit. I better work a little bit harder. First time I had a job, when I got fired, I better practice a little bit harder because I'm not cut out of this freaking work life. You know what I mean? So,
this 9-to-5 thing is not for me.
But you truly cannot fail if you try. It's when you don't do anything is where you fail.
So, but like people say crazy stuff every day as if you listen to it. You know what I mean? I just tend not to listen to it. Or like John said, John, deal with this shit, man.
Yeah, I mean, listen to the bullshit.
My thought in business is you either succeed or you learn.
That's it.
There's no failure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see the sign on the wall.
You do.
That is the truest sign. We painted it up there because that is the truth.
Yeah,
You can't stop the grind. You
Yeah.
can't stop.
You can't stop, bro. Like I said, you're gonna have ups, you're gonna have downs. It's like it's how you take that bad situation and make it better for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I'm not going to do that again.
yeah, exactly.
Well, it's funny. I had a person in the industry tell me not to, like, don't push too hard. There's an opportunity. He basically was like, relax. Don't come on too strong. And it made me laugh. And I don't know if he said it to me because I was a woman and I'm not the person to make it about that. But I was like, I ended up realizing further down the road, I was like, a closed mouth does not get fed. And if you are not out there advocating for yourself, if you are not out there selling yourself, ain't nobody else gonna sell you better than you can sell you, right?
Exactly.
But people will project that onto you. Yeah. People who are intimidated to go out there and speak up for themselves will oftentimes try to put that off on you. You know what I'm saying?
Show problem. Yeah, no, I understand. No,
but when you respect somebody, and then you find out later on, not that they were wrong, but you know what I'm saying? Like when you have somebody that you respect so much in an industry and then you realize, damn, maybe they didn't.
Well, that's why you always have to respect yourself before you respect others. And
There
it
you
comes
go.
naturally, and you just keep going.
I mean, we all have brains.
yeah,
So
exactly.
we have to use them. I mean, listen, my one motivation for this was Floyd's best friend. So, that was my motivation to start this up and get myself out there.
I told you, I said, man, fuck that. I said, man, shit, you can't let that stop. You got to keep
No,
going.
it's just got to go.
Yeah.
So, it's I've and even with the workers, people who work today, take pride in your jobs. Take pride in what you do. It might not be what you want to do, but right now it's paying your bills. And if you pay your bills and you can live, you have the opportunity in those other 30, 40, 50 hours a week that you're awake to better yourself.
Yep.
You got to start somewhere.
I felt like you were laughing a little bit when we were talking about employees and working.
Oh,
Nobody wants to work.
Nobody, my grandfather had hotels in Miami, and he had like a couple hundred people working for him, right? And someone goes to him, how many people do you have working for you? He goes, 10%. It took him a minute, but
It's so true.
But nobody wants to work.
Yeah.
That seems to be the consensus across the board. We were having that conversation in here.
Everybody wants to
Yesterday.
get paid. Nobody wants to work.
we offer people all the time jobs, right? And you know what they say? I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's-
what
we want someone someone to help us with social media, and I mean, we're willing to pay fairly well. You don't have to know anything except how to post on TikTok,
which
okay?
everybody knows.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm going to your skill set here, and I'm going to pay you to do it. You still can't find anybody.
No.
But I will also say this. Everybody sitting on this couch, I think, has learned the greatest lesson in life, which is when you do what you love. Like, I hate to say you never, because we all work, but it's much easier to get up every morning and really and truthfully, like, Floyd, you found a way to parlay your number one passion in life into a decades-long career, right?
Yep.
Like, John, even for you, that thing that you loved as a kid maybe didn't become, a viable source of income in the fact that you were a professional basketball player, football player, but you've managed to turn love into...
I've always loved cars. My bar mitzvah was car theme. So now that I am able to do cars, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's
and the success just keeps on coming. So I feel like if that's one thing that you can encourage people that watch podcasts or are on social media, is find that thing that you want to do every day. And it exists. And if it's not, if what you're doing right now isn't it, keep paying the bills, but find that thing.
It's out there.
It will be there, and sometimes you have to go through many things to find what you like.
absolutely.
I did real estate. Never thought I would ever do real estate. Didn't really care, but it was a means to start something to get to where I am now, which I'm happy about. So you just, unfortunately, part of being an adult, is to pay your bills and learn and keep growing and hopefully have that American dream, right? You have a family, you have a house, you have everything. But to get to that point, you have to start somewhere.
Work.
Yeah.
Everybody,
work.
you got to put in the time.
But in finding that thing that you're passionate about is manning the fuck up, because guess what? When you finally do, you're a happier person.
Yeah.
The people around you are happier people, right? Like your relationships are better because there's nothing worse. And I think this country is notorious for it. People get caught in that grind. Sorry. It'll be fine. Wake up. If you're falling asleep.
6.
Yeah,
If you were, now you're counting too? Okay, I see how this is.
I'm only helping out.
Just so everybody knows, I'm the only. But
Nessa's got a little clicker.
do you know what I'm saying though? Like when you love what you do, and in this country, so many people just get comfortable with being miserable,
Yeah.
and then they make everybody around them miserable, right? And it's just like, oh, well, there's nothing else I can do, and they got all the excuses for why. 7. Was it 8? Is that 8? What is it? Sorry, Nessa.
Is that your passion?
Yeah, talking with my hands. Yes,
No,
Greek,
no, no.
Italian, Portuguese, and Brazilian. Sorry, we're hand talkers.
Yeah, I can't take that attitude, and that it's difficult to be around. You know, that energy will drag down a whole entire office. You know, I have other businesses too. My pharmacy, I have 5 employees there. We had 6. That 6th one was like an anchor. Like an anchor. Less work got done when they were there than after we got rid of them. And now everybody's happy again. It was like, it's like, you know, that bad apple.
It always only takes one.
I was gonna say, when you're hiring, passion or experience, what's more important to you guys for your team?
Passion.
Passion.
We want someone that really wants to do something and learn and be a part of something.
Yeah.
That makes it so much fun.
You can always learn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just somebody.
Facts.
Passion. Yeah, you can always learn the job.
And they're gonna be more likely to learn.
Yeah,
Because they want to
They
learn.
wanna learn. Yeah, you know, so definitely passion.
Passion. So if you're listening, passion. Just find that thing that just you're excited to do. You guys have a couple of events coming up, yes. So we have you here in the Man Cave. I know Floyd, you were talking about Super Bowl is in LA, so there's obviously going to be some stuff if you're on the West Coast.
I got one here in Miami too. I'm actually doing an NFL PA Players Chapter event September 13th at the Sunset Harbor Marina. We're doing our NFL PA Christmas party December 11th at Dave & Buster's. Not December 13th, December 11th. We got Supercar Saturdays Florida at the Shops of Pembroke Gardens.
And that's the toy run, right?
That's the toy run.
So do we bring, if people want to come out and just check out the cars, but they can also bring unwrapped toys and stuff like that?
Yep.
Please.
So that's at the Shops of Pembroke Gardens. And then the big one is the Motor Car Cavalcade, which we're doing at the J.W. Marriott Thunberg, which is a concourse lifestyle type car show. So,
Okay.
Yeah, so
Big
got a
boy
lot of
show.
stuff coming up. Yeah.
You're a busy guy.
Yeah.
The two of you are busy men.
Yeah, a lot of stuff coming up.
And I'm sure your Ubers will all be rented out, you know, with all the things. It's season time in South Florida.
He needs more cars.
You never have enough.
Well, if there's anybody that's listening right now and you're looking for either a side hustle or another way to make some money, obviously, get in touch with John.
Yeah, they can check us out at drivetoearn.net.
And definitely for the car aficionados, follow Exotics on Las Olas. That's Floyd's car brand.
That's our baby.
Supercar Saturdays Florida.
And that's the second Saturday of every month. You guys are in Pembroke Gardens, yeah?
Yep.
Very cool. You're not going to tell us what's going on at Super Bowl? Will you come back before? I mean, I'm just saying.
That might be a private event.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, ManTFup will fly to LA for Super Bowl. I'm just
Well, you know, with the NFLPA, we have our events that they do every year for the chapter members.
I've hosted like the mothers
So, you know,
brunch
the
and stuff like
mothers,
that. Yeah.
So those are pretty private. I know I'm doing Lee Steinberg's event. That's a big one every year. What else? I mean, the Maxim magazines are always a good one. You know what I mean?
Oh, look,
Yeah.
boys and their toys.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so those are ones that I'm working with Ron Brown and Snoop Dogg about putting some things together out in LA. So yeah, we have a lot of stuff coming up.
Never ends.
Yeah.
Ever. That's a great problem
Yeah.
to have, though, right?
It's a great problem.
Anything
Cool.
else, Len?
No, I'm
Appreciate
glad you guys came in.
Thank you for
And
having us.
I look forward to
Appreciate it.
doing stuff
Yes.
with you in the future.
Yeah.
Hold on. There's the last soundbite. When you see Man the Fuck Up, what does it mean to you?
Man the fuck up.
It's exactly what it says.
There you go.
When you're in a situation, just man the fuck up and deal with it.
Man the fuck up is the word that says it best.
You got to get to work.
I think we
Man the
just
fuck up
we
and
just
go.
need to reintroduce this phrase to the new generation. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But because they might get mad because you said fuck. You know what I mean?
or man.
Oh man, you know what I mean? So
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
can't say that anymore.
Yes, you
say that
can.
anymore. You know, you can't talk to my kids like that.
Somebody else made a great point, and it was a woman, and she said, listen, we're all part of mankind, right? We're all humans. So man the fuck up is it could in this day and age offend everybody, but it should offend no one, right? At the end of the day, women can man the fuck up,
right.
men can man the fuck up. As people, we just need to own our shit, boss up, and get it done.
Personally, I can offend whoever I want.
You do. And you do, Lenny, very well.
I don't know. I try not to.
Again,
I just try to be honest.
you
That's
really,
policy.
really
I
say that,
really do.
Pinocchio.
I
You
really
will never
do.
be a real boy if you continue to tell these lies. I'm just saying. Guys, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Exotics on Las Olas. A lot of great things happening. You can follow ManTFup TV for all the deets. I'm sure you'll share flyers and anything.
Yeah, for sure.
But the toy drive is very important. Again,
we're doing it for the Boys and Girls Club of Brighton.
Love it.
Island. So yeah, so December 11th, 9 to 12, the shops of Pembroke Gardens. So look forward to seeing everybody there. Thank you, Lenny. Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, it was fun.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
man the fuck up.
Man the fuck up.